California is Republican strategist John Jordan. And here in New York, Cathy Areu, who is the publisher of Catalina magazine. So ladies first, Cathy.
Thank you.
I'm a warm person and I hug people. Is that a legit alibi?
Not a legit alibi. No, but I mean, I've met Al Franken. I've interviewed him for the Washington Post. And
how did that meeting go?
It went fine. He didn't hug me. It was fine.
So maybe he's not a hugger.
He wasn't a hugger with me. But I think that the punishment, I mean, he's been punished. He's apologized.
How has he been punished?
Well, Pelosi is asking for an investigation for Conyers, and Warren said that Franken might have a hearing. So I think that they will face their punishment. He's apologetic, unlike Moore in Alabama.
Well, he hasn't been punished yet. Let's be clear about that. And is just saying I'm sorry, is that good enough?
Well, does it fit the crime? He's facing what he's facing right now. So we don't know right now, but it looks like he is going to have a punishment.
Okay, well, we'll see about that. The Senate Ethics Committee is not really known for issuing very strong punishments. John, there's a new poll out from Politico. It's not looking good for Senator Al Franken. I believe only 22% believe he should stay in the U.S. Senate. How bad is this for Franken, but also for the entire Democratic Party? Because there's a lot of senators that really haven't spoken up much about their colleague.
Well, first of all, it can't be too bad for Senator Franken for two reasons. As your previous guest pointed out, the Ethics Committee is not known for stiff punishment. Second of all, he was just reelected from Minnesota, so he won't see the voters for quite some time. This is, however, a disaster for the Democrats, whose central playbook has always been the war on women, dividing America by gender, race, and everything else, and holding themselves out as the champions of women's rights and beyond reproach, while Republicans, on the other hand, are nothing short of ogres. And the media, and this is an unreported story, the media has been complicit in building this narrative. And now it's exposed. It's not principle, it's politics.
Interesting. And you know the Democrats rely on women voters. I think 56% or 54 went to Hillary and President Obama. So they cannot afford to alienate their base and kind of not cast aside these serial gropers, can they not?
No, they cannot. I mean, but these guys are showing remorse, unlike Moore in Alabama. And Trump had no remorse whatsoever for what Moore's doing in Alabama. So Trump almost apologized for Moore. So the Democrats are not apologizing for Franken and Conyers' behavior.
Well,
this is quite different.
I believe Nancy Pelosi said on the record that they have a zero-tolerance policy for harassment. Now, if you have a zero-tolerance policy, then a resignation, John, I believe, should be the next step.
They don't have a zero-tolerance policy. They have a sometimes tolerance policy. The Democrats' position on this type of behavior is they impose one standard on Republicans while sweeping it under the cover for their own members. The rules are for thee but not for me mentality, because that is necessary for them to have electoral success. So the hypocrisy has been laid bare, and I think it's going to really undermine a big part of their case going into 2018.
Cathy, if you're showing up to meetings in your underwear, and you're shoving your tongue down people's throat.
Allegedly.
Okay. Well, I thought we were supposed to give the women the benefit of the doubt. I believe
right, but also
the women,
it's innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, sure, but there's also photographic evidence of Al Franken.
Right, that is true.
There's settlements.
That's true. That's true.
There's settlements, too. So let me ask you this. Do they have any credibility when they come back to Congress and they come back to the Senate speaking with any authority on certain issues?
Well, they seem remorseful. They seem apologetic, and we are going to see
You're very hung up on them being remorseful. I know they're remorseful. They may be remorseful that they were caught.
It's such a contrast to Moore. It's such a contrast. As a feminist, I'm happy this is coming out. I'm happy that women are discussing this, and we're able to finally get these problems out in the open. But these guys will have their day. They will have to explain what's going on.
They may not have their day.
But the Democratic leaders are asking for that. Warren and Pelosi are asking for that day.
We all know shipping it over to the Ethics Committee does nothing. Isn't that right, John? I mean, what would you like to see? Do you think he should resign?
And it'll get buried. It'll get buried where it'll be page 10 news and nobody sees or hears anything about it. The hearings will drag on. So, no, it's not going anywhere. When has the Ethics Committee really punished anybody for this sort of thing?
Let me ask you about Conyers. Let's kind of focus on him now. Where's the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, been? Have they said anything? I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard anything except one word from a congressional Democrat. Kathleen Rice, I believe, said that he should step down, John Conyers. The silence is deafening, because if this was a Republican and he'd settled lots of sexual harassment cases, walking around in his underwear in front of females, I mean, come on. I think every Democrat in the House would go on the record right now and say he needed to step down.
Well, Pelosi has said that she's not going to tolerate this. Pelosi did say that they were going to have an investigation. So they are speaking up. The Democrats aren't hiding from this. They are definitely speaking up.
All right. Well, one of the reasons the Democrats...
They're not hiding from it. They're burying it.
They're not. Pelosi is speaking up.
Away.
They're not hiding. But Warren and Pelosi, both women, are speaking up.
I think what happens is when there's a Republican involved in any scandal, the members of the media run with microphones in hand to their doors and make them say on the record what they believe. Now, there's no press asking any Democratic members of Congress in the House or the Senate to go on the record. It seems like, because no one's really gone on the record.
Well, when you have Trump defending Moore the way he defended him, it was unpresidential.
Well, listen, Donald Trump has been known to do unpresidential things, but Donald Trump, by defending Moore, is probably doing what every Democrat did in the 1990s. It's pure power politics.
But they're not doing that now.
Keep the guy in office so he can help the agenda and then let everything else slide.
Every major Republican has cut off the Moore campaign. The National Republican Senatorial Campaign walked away from this race. Numerous Republicans, elected officials, have condemned Roy Moore. And by the way, these are 38-year-old allegations without pictures and without payoffs, unlike Conyers and Franken.
Moore's innocent?
But still, everybody's walked away and disavowed it in the strongest possible language, and the Democrats refused to do that in this case.
Not true.
For their
Warren
own
and Pelosi
guys.
have been